Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Islamic economic directives pose a lot of challenges in the modern society because there are a number of instruments which have arisen in these societies which never existed 14 centuries ago, and therefore people ask whether they are allowed or not. Two such instruments which shall be discussed today. One of them is the issue of shares, and the other is the issue of prize bonds. We find that shares and prize bonds are two very common investments which people make in today's society, and they ask whether they are legally or Islamically allowed or not. Now, as far as shares are concerned, we can rest assured that they're absolutely allowed and there's nothing forbidden about them. The only thing is there are two precautionary measures which should be taken. The first of them is that one should not buy shares of companies or institutes or foundations which are involved in something which is prohibited by Islam. For example, buying shares of banks or buying shares of companies which are involved in, for example, liquor or other similar things which are prohibited by Islam should be avoided. And the other thing is that forward trading, if it incurs moral misconduct, for example, deceit and damage in a person's dealings, then they should all be also be avoided, because this is something which has been forbidden by Islam. However, this is something which can only be known to the person who is doing that forward trading. If he thinks that deceit and damage can be safeguarded and deceit and damage cannot result, then of course he can indulge in it, and if he thinks that this is not, then he should refrain from it, because this is something which Islam would not want, that deceit and damage should be inflicted upon the person who does this thing. So therefore, keeping in view these two stipulations, we can say that shares are absolutely allowed. Now, as far as prize bonds are concerned, again, we are faced with a different situation here, and here we find that the element of interest as well as gambling both is involved in prize bonds, because when you see you invest in prize bonds, you give a loan to the government, and if you win a prize bond, then that loan is actually the over and above amount on that loan, which is interest, is returned to you. So therefore, what you are getting is actually interest on that investment, on that invested loan. So a person who wins a prize bond, he is actually getting an interest amount on the amount he had invested. So therefore, he should avoid that. And the second thing is that the element of wager or gambling is also present in prize bonds. A person gambles on that return accrued on interest, and therefore he should not do that, because gambling is something which is disallowed. And we know that when something is disallowed in Islam, it is primarily because it is against the tazkiyah, or the purification of the soul of that individual. And we know that both interest and gambling are things which are absolutely averse to tazkiyah, and they are elements which produce moral misconduct in a person. A person who indulges in interest and who indulges in gambling is a person who never gets used to hard work. He is something who is never a contributing individual to society. He does not take risks. He is a person who becomes superstitious, and he does not take decisions on the basis of real life facts. He indulges in a lot of speculation and unfounded speculation. So because of these various reasons, Islam has prohibited both interest and gambling, and since prize bonds are elements in which the element of interest as well as gambling is present, so therefore believers should desist from buying prize bonds. So in a nutshell, we can share that as far as shares are concerned, they are something absolutely allowed with those two stipulations that I just narrated to you or told earlier on. And as far as prize bonds are concerned, they are something which should be abstained from, because they contain the element of interest as well as gambling. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات.